to the Nerdy Neighborhood, everyone, and welcome back to your Friendly Neighborhood Comic Show. I'm your host, Lauren, your Friendly Neighborhood Bi, and I'm joined back on the show. We have Jonathan Hedrick, who, of course, this guy is a comic book machine. He's got another phenomenal book on Kickstarter now, and it's actually, and we're going to talk about it, it's a little bit different than we usually do, which I'm really excited about. It's something new. I think you're putting yourself out there, but welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me back on, Lauren.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the shirt. You're already dressed. You got the SPILLBLOOD shirt,
Yep.
So everybody can see how good it looks in person.
Exactly. Yep. I'll always be marketing.
I hear you. Well, it's so funny. People are like, "We're gonna do T-shirts," and it's like, man, if I can do T-shirts, and if somebody can do shirts and all that, it has to happen quickly because it's just marketing, like you said.
Yeah.
Like we want you guys to want T-shirts. We want you guys to be proud of, wearing something that we do or what have you, because at the end, it's a win for all of us. You're happy and we're happy.
Yeah, for sure. You capitalize on it when you can.
I completely hear you. So you guys, as of this recording, you guys are at 5 days left to go. You guys have already nearly doubled your goal, which is super duper exciting. But sometimes people think, oh, well, they've doubled their goal. They don't need any more money. They're fine. But that's not the case. If people know with Kickstarters, usually the starting goal is just a baseline to just get it out there to us as fans, me included. And then, every other money actually makes it into the product that you as the creators really want to give us.
Exactly. Yeah. We were funded within 28 hours, but, we immediately started pushing the stretch goals so we could put more value into the pledges. So we unlocked a ton of extra rewards. People are going to get a lot of extra goodies that we feel are worth the extra amount that we put into the campaign.
Yeah. And I really appreciate that you take the time to do that, because at the end of the day, Kickstarters are so hard to run and they're so hard for you guys, and you guys put so much work already. You totally don't have to do these stretch goals and make them really great things that we want, but you knock it out of the park. I mean,
thank you.
The free comics are great. I love Caffeinated Hearts.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you signing it when we got to meet at Heroes Con there. It's one of the most beautiful comics I've read, in all honesty.
Yeah.
So,
thank you so much. So glad to hear that. Yeah, and the reason why we wanted to add that as a stretch goal reward was, this is another book that Stefano and I worked together with. So, you back the $5 digital only tier, and you're going to get 3 of our comic books. That's nice. $5, 3 digital comics. That's,
you do the math. It's really cheap.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Yeah, and it's great. It's completely worth it. I highly encourage everybody. Free sticker. Everybody loves stickers, trading cards, magnets. I mean, you literally have every kind of stretch goal in here.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, these are all the ones. Pens, a woven patch, a free poster. I mean, a new add-on cover by Francesca Fantini, who is actually your wife, and she is astounding at her work as well. Like I was telling you before we recorded, you guys are like the power couple, I swear to goodness. And you're also still wonderful in your own right as well, right, as individuals. So
yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it was great. She surprised me with that cover one day. And it's a gorgeous cover, super well received. As soon as we unlocked it, we gained even more funding from that. So it really turned out great. I'm so glad that we're going to be able to get that out there to more fans.
Yeah, I would be really, especially after this cover, I'd be really interested because the style she's using for that cover kind of reminds me of Jason Sean Alexander's for Philadelphia and stuff. I'd love to see them like kind of pair up together and see what the world they make. That'd be so cool. Yeah,
and that's all traditional. She did that, painting, on paper, canvas. It's outstanding.
Yeah, and a lot of times you can tell that too. And I feel like it's kind of funny because even when you can't completely tell, like you're not, if I'm not an expert on that or on art styles or whatever, the covers that are usually more traditional and hand drawn, they are so well received.
Yeah.
So like even if I don't consciously realize, like I can tell that's traditional and I like it more. I think a lot of people really do like that when they see it, especially in comic covers.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It definitely translates better that way when it's traditional. Nothing against digital too; it serves its
Right.
purpose. But yeah, we wanted to give this to people. It's only a $9 add-on. That for a variant cover. So if you already are backing us, you can add that one on for just $9 more.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, my mouse decided to die. It's fine. And a free bookmark. Literally every single stretch goal that I've pretty much seen in a campaign you have, which is so cool. And you can do the add-ons and all the choices. So what is Spillblood about? Because obviously you've got this great presentation. It looks badass. It looks really cool. But what the heck is it for people that are like, I do want to open it and read it and not just frame it and put it on the wall only?
Yeah, that's a good point. So it's a 36-page one-shot in all black, white, and red, very noir style. And it's about this cursed priest who listens to people confess their sins all day long in his confessional booth. And then at night, he turns into this creature that seeks out vengeance for those sins. And so he lives on a plane somewhere between heaven and hell, which is Earth. And he's cursed just to walk the rest of his life here on Earth, but he does what heaven and hell can't do while on Earth. So it's there's definitely some religious heavy tones. So if you're a fan of like Punisher, Daredevil, Ghost Rider, I think you'll dig this comic book from those dark aspects of those comic books that I name dropped.
Yeah, and I love just these preview pages you have on here, because when I hear like black, white, and red, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be mostly black and white with some red, but there's a lot of red and on some of these pages, and it's really interesting the choice to use such red. It's because it's I'm trying to think of the right wordage, but it's eye-catching, and it's almost like so attention-grabbing that can be unsettling to the eyes, and not like, oh my god, this is terrible, but like, holy crap, what's happening, Yeah,
it definitely gives this story a heavy identity of what we're trying to go with here, and it's that like grindhouse feel to it. If this was a movie, it would probably be like directed by Robert Rodriguez or something like that. That very avant-garde style. Like, we wanted to not go the traditional route with this.
Yeah, grindhouse is a great way to describe it. It feels very raw and gritty, and almost like I don't know. I feel like it's. So grindhouse is very interesting because depending on how you do the coloring, right? If you go completely black and white and more subtle at times, or again, even full black and white, you can still go very hard on the blacks and the grays and stuff. But here with the red especially, it's, you guys just do such, it's such a great job. And I keep losing my words as I think, because I'm thinking too fast. I can't, but I'm just mind blown with how well done these pages are, and just looking wise. That's not even reading the complete words, but reading the words on the page. I definitely get the Daredevil and the Punisher feels, and yet it still feels like its own identity. Like, I think that's really exciting too. Is it's kind of tough when people are like, well, if you like this comic or this thing, then you'll like this, and then you read and you're like, okay, well, now it sounds like you're trying too much to be that, or maybe you weren't trying to, but it happened, and that just happens. Here I didn't feel that at all. It's like,
thank you,
it's very much a good thing.
And Stefano knocked it out of the park with these pages. This is our first time collaborating doing digital. We were talking about that earlier. So our previous projects together, he did that traditional inked and watercolored all of those. But this one, we decided to go digital for the artwork, because I think it lends itself more with that usage of just that limited color palette too. It makes it more striking that way. It would have been hard for him to pull off this type of red doing watercolor. So it stands on its own that way.
That's fair. And honestly, I think it would be really cool to see a style like this in watercolor, but I think you're completely right. It's very hard to it'd be so hard to get all that red out and then try to still have those blacks in there, and
Yeah.
that'd be really, really tough.
Right. But it turned out great. It's going to be a really cool product at the end of the day. You know, it's 36 pages. You know, it's not just it's not going to be a quick one shot. It's going to be a good, you know, full, it's going to be a thick boy, you know, when people get it. And one of the stretch goals we unlocked was increasing the card stock and paper quality.
Yes.
So now it's 100-pound cover with 80-pound pages. So this is going to be a really high quality book when you have it in your hands. I think it's going to really stand out.
Yeah, which is, you know, I know some people, you know, they'll be like, well, Kickstarter is so much more expensive and things like that. And it is for a lot of reasons. And part of it, of course, is, well, you do get the better quality. You're not going to see that quality from Marvel or DC because they get the cheaper costs, and that's what they do. So,
and I can appreciate that too. I can appreciate people not wanting to spend $15 on one comic book. I get it. But that's why, you know, we put so much into this. So when you get that comic book, when you open it, it gets mailed to you, and you spent, you know, $8 on $8 is the cheapest physical reward tier, plus $7 for the shipping. So $15 in total gets you a 36-page comic book, a digital copy, sticker, magnet, poster, trading card, patch, pin, extra digital comic book. So I really think when you break it down dollar to dollar, you're actually getting more this way than you are if you went on something more on the direct market end.
Yeah, or even, you know, if you wanted to buy the comic and then you have to buy a magnet and then you have to buy the pen, like all those things separately are probably like $6 to $8 a piece, and you get them all for 15. So essentially you're getting one great package that has the value of, like, you know, at least $30 probably.
Oh, for sure. And at the end of the day, you're supporting an independent project. You know, that's in after all is said and done, you're helping to support this project see, you know, the light. So that's what, even if you don't get all the tchotchkes like that with other projects, part of your you know, pledge is to help the creators make the project too. So it's hard to balance it, what money goes to actually producing it and what money is going to, you know, the end product and adding the value. So we think that we're really giving you the best of both worlds. We're paying off, you know, the part of creating it and then producing it. Those two lines kind of get blurred sometimes, but we're not maximizing our profits here. It's to get as much value as possible for the backers.
Which, is something I think it's important, for people to understand with most Kickstarters, especially with, you know, indie comic creators are not a big publisher, you know, you guys, like you said, aren't maximizing profits. Anything you profit off of it, it's like, thank God, you know, we have something that could go towards our bills or whatever. But like you said, the rest of it, you know, creators like you and most of the other ones I've spoken to, they just want their book out there. You guys just want it out there for people to enjoy and give you feedback on. I noticed that as well. A lot of indie creators are much more open to actual feedback because, you know, it seems like you guys really do want to grow. You guys are like, no, my craft isn't 100%, and that's okay. You know, it won't be, and I want to keep making stuff I love and that people can enjoy and find value in.
100% agree with that. Yeah, I mean, if I went to these projects hoping to get rich, I'd be extremely disappointed.
Yeah, I think that's how, again, most comic Kickstarters are. You don't go in it to get rich. You go in it to make enough just to make the dream happen, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you'll never be disappointed if you look at it that way. Yeah.
And, you know, you've mentioned that this is a one-shot, which I actually really like because, especially Kickstarters that you back issue to issue, sometimes it can be hard to keep up with them, especially if you get invested in multiple Kickstarter series. And you're like, oh, God, did I miss issue 2 or 3? Even though we get the emails, you know, sometimes life happens or, hey, my funds are different. So Anyway, so it's really nice that it's actually, one shot that we can fully get behind. There's no other things after it that we know of, at least. But what was your, how did you decide whether this story was a one shot or something you wanted to continue in the future?
Well, it certainly left open for additional volumes, but making indie comics, it's really hard to finance and invest into, a multiple issue project. So that's why I have a lot of one shots, just because it's easier to get the project out there than it is to go in on a mini series, which could take years to finally pull off. So this way I can get something in people's hands, and if there's a desire for more, there can be an adjacent one shot to it. It's definitely left open for that, and I hope that it's received well enough to serve that purpose, where we can do a second Spill Blood that doesn't necessarily require anyone to read the first one, but they work very well as companion pieces.
Yeah. And that's actually, nice to hear, in terms of, it's like, it's open enough where I could write something, but it's also, complete enough where if that's the story you tell and get to share with us as the readers, the public, then cool beans, you got out there and you got the feedback, and, that's great, because, that's only going to help you with whatever your next project is.
Yep, that's exactly how it goes. Just it's a way of playing it safe. Well, so people don't get an issue one that was supposed to be the beginning of a 5-issue series that never goes on. That would really be bad if you left people on a cliffhanger and you never know anything else that happens.
Yeah. Oh, that's
seen that
the
a lot.
worst.
Seen that a lot in crowdfunding. You see a lot of issue ones. You don't see a lot of issue 7s and 8s.
That's true. I think the most common number is, obviously number 1, and then maybe 5 or 6, and then after that, that's kind of it. And I think part of it, though, is kind of like you said, even if there is the audience for it that wants and all that, it's just hard to upkeep, with the creators and doing that long term. And, again, there's reasons you work with big publishers. There's reason to do Kickstarters. I think it is helpful, though, that, the big publishers, they do have, your editors and the people in office that can kind of help rally your herd, all creators together. Whereas Kickstarters, everybody's doing it themselves. And sometimes that's easier than not. Sometimes it's harder than we want it to be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just the nature of the comic book industry. Some projects have a home at different platforms than others. So you got to go with, what serves the project the best.
Yeah. And I love hearing that too, because I think, sometimes creators are like, well, I want to tell a story I want to tell, which is valid and great. Other creators will say like, hey, I want to, share something for the audience. And that's valid and great as well. And I appreciate that you're like, I want to do what is best for the project. Because I actually don't hear that often from creators. I hear what works best in their vision or what the audience wants. And it's like, what's best for the actual story, the characters, whatever. Like, that's, it's cool to hear that you have that focus first.
Yeah, it's got to be about the project first. And then everything else, just let it be organic after that.
Yeah, and that's easier said than done. I know that. It's like, let it be organic. And we're like, sounds great. And then you write, and then you're at 3 a.m. as usual, like, God, why can't I get past this part?
Yeah. Definitely easier said than done. It's not a perfect world whatsoever. But these things tend to grow their own legs and find their proper place eventually.
Yeah. And with Spill Blood, so I kind of mentioned when we started, compared at least to some of the other stories you've done, like Caffeinated Hearts and things like that, this is different than some of the other stuff you've read. And I would say it's closer to, your newest hit, which is amazing, Dream Master. So, it's interesting to kind of see you going more in that direction at the moment in time. Is that something intentionally, like having Dream Master and this project and things like that? Is that something you're intentionally doing as like a theme or, some stories to get out? Or is it just, I'm just interested with that?
Yeah, I lean more towards writing darker stories in the first place. I enjoy those a lot. I feel like they come more natural to me. Caffeinated Hearts was one of the hardest stories that I wrote.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be challenging to do a follow up to that one.
Yeah.
Same with like Space Cadet, my all ages book.
Mm-hmm.
I love those stories to death, but they were really challenging, and I enjoyed that challenge, and would definitely go back to it if the project was right. But I don't want to say writing horror and darker content themes is easier, but it definitely is more enjoyable through and through. So it's more of my style. It's more of what I would like to read, watch, listen to. So it comes off, it more my speed. So yeah, no, I want to say it's intentional. It's just in my nature.
Yeah. And that's really cool to hear. I know sometimes I hear actually pretty often from a lot of creators, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. I completely get it. A lot of them are worried about getting put in a box. They're like, I don't want to be just this genre or this topic or this theme or whatnot. I want to be able to do so many different things. And so they, intentionally try to do so many different genres or what have you, which is really cool. But it's actually cool to hear a creator like you say, hey, I know what I do like. It's not that you can't do other things. You've proven you can if you wish to, but you know what you enjoy the most and what your forte seems to be at this moment in time. And you're like, I'm going to embrace that. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, when you're a creator, if you're not into the project, it's not going to come out to be a good project.
Right.
So if you're forcing it, it can show at the end of the day. So I don't know. I like to write what I what my interests are. So I think and I know Stefano really likes this type of style too. He likes dark themes. So it was a good fit for both of us.
Yeah, the art we were looking at earlier, he's thriving in it. I can completely see why he's like, yes, perfect, you're doing that, I'm in, sold.
Yeah, he
Tell me what
likes
to draw.
he likes gore, he likes big guns, he likes heads exploding. So you get all that in Spill Blood. I mean, with a title like Spill Blood, you know some stuff's going down.
Yeah, you have to spill blood. If you don't spill blood, you spill blood. What are you doing? Like,
yeah, that'd be just a misnomer after that.
It would, and I can totally understand why you wouldn't do this because this is darker book and serious tones, all that. But it'd be so funny, as like towards the end of the book, you keep track of how much blood is spilled, like how many people, like 20 gallons spilled.
yeah, that'd be cool.
From like 50 people that Spillblood killed in like 3 pages. And you're like, oh, well, all right, sounds good.
Yeah, I got a ticker that keeps going up.
Yeah. Or maybe, when the book comes out, like fans will start doing that. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Start a Spillblood, and then, eventually that's probably how you'll get another one shot that has to come out. We're like, we need more blood spilled. Please.
Yeah.
Sir.
Spill Blood 2. More blood spilling.
Yeah, there you go. See, spill more blood. Love it. So you've already talked about some of the rewards here, but I didn't know if there were any other ones you wanted to highlight past the physical copies, the covers, and digital copies, and all that.
Yeah, we have some great reward tiers. Our first variant cover was by Joe Schmolke, who's a super talented artist. Been friends with him for a while, and so I'm really excited that we have a cover from him. We have 2 original art tiers. One of them's already been scooped up. The cover for Stefano's cover is already claimed. Fingers crossed the person doesn't cancel their pledge by the end, but Joe's cover is still up for grabs.
Nice.
So that's a killer cover, and you get every cover with that campaign. I mean, with that reward tier. Mm-hmm. We still have 2 spots left for reward for retailers. We opened that up for 10 spots. 8 retailers have claimed a retailer tier, so there's 2 left. So if you know a comic book store that might be into this, please let them know. It's a great deal for retailers. It's zero profit for us and low risk for them.
Nice. You really can't beat that, especially because I know, especially for Kickstarters and all that, half the battle is getting a couple retailers to get out there so that people that aren't always on Kickstarter looking for comics and things like that can actually get access to these books, because that's the thing about too is if you find a great book in Kickstarter and you're like, man, I wish so and so would be able to find this because the Kickstarter's passed. If it hasn't gone to a retailer, it's gonna be really, really hard.
Yeah, and what I tell people that say that they can't afford to back the project, I tell them, don't worry. Talk to your local comic book shop. Maybe they have the $80 that they can put into it to get 25 copies. So that's a win-win scenario. The campaign gets the pledge. The comic book store gets the product that they can profit off of, and you and 24 other people can buy the comic book from your comic book store. So, if it doesn't work out, if you don't have the $5 to get the minimum pledge, talk to a local comic book shop. Maybe that small business might be able to drop the $80 to double their profit off of it.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And honestly, like that's what it's all about at the end of the day is the community, everybody working together to be able to produce and read these great things. Like, hardly is it that somebody gets into comics because they're just like, all right, that comic looks cool. I'm going to buy like 6 of them right now to start. Like usually somebody says, here, try this out. Like just out of the goodness of their heart, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get hooked somehow. And sometimes it's just, seeing it on the shelf, that's, who knows? But yeah, we want to put it out there to, we got digital copies, we got the single copies, we got retailer tiers. We're just trying to get it out there so people can read it. Yeah.
Well, it's out there for sure. You've got over 200 backers, which is amazing. Nice. And I'm sure crazy to think it's like over 200 people care about my book. What? And as they should, because I know it's going to be a banger. It's coming from you.
Thank you.
I love all the work you do, even if it's something that I normally wouldn't read. Like if it's a genre I usually don't read, I always appreciate, how much you put into every single work you do.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot. I'm just putting my best foot forward when it comes to these comic books. I just want to tell stories and people to be entertained from them at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, is there anything else about Spill Blood that you'd like to share? Anything else we need to be like writing down and our calendars ready to go?
It ends August 17th at 9 p.m. Eastern. So, get your pledges in now, sooner than later. Don't wait till the last minute.
Yep. Because in case you guys don't know, Kickstarter doesn't charge you until after project's back. So even if you're like, I won't have my money till, the 17th, go ahead and back it now because nothing comes out of your account till it's done. So that's really exciting. It's a nice little protection measure.
100%. Yep. That's an important point.
Yep. Well, thank you for coming back, Jonathan. It is always such a pleasure to have you on. Always enjoy having you in the neighborhood.
Yeah, thank you.
Please plug yourself away. I know, especially with all the social media and Twitter craze, nobody knows where to go anymore. So tell people where they can hunt you down.
I've been leading everyone to the one source of truth, which is my website, jonathanhedrickcomics.com. There's links to my everything there. You can access all my social media platforms through there. There's links to the publishers that have stores on their website with the books that I've worked on. My calendar of events where I'm going to be at is there. My web store is there. If you want to buy something directly from me, maybe it's a rare copy that's sold out, I might have it. jonathanhedrickcomics.com. And be on the lookout for Quicksand number 2 in stores August 23rd. Issue 1's already out. You can pre-order issues 3 and 4 of the 5-issue miniseries.
Nice. Perfect. And I'll make sure that website link is below for all of you at home. They're super lazy like me or also don't translate hearing to typing well. So don't worry. You can click the website link below and find everything you need there. It's so much easier. You'll be all set. Thank you again, Jonathan. Please come back anytime. And we'll have to get your wife on the show sometime. I haven't had her on yet. We'll have to make that happen too. So I'm sure people will have a bunch of questions for her about her art because her art is so well loved.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll have to make that happen.
Well, awesome. And those of you guys watching at home, thanks for tuning in. Please go back to Kickstarter. Please follow Jonathan. Even if this book isn't your normal cup of tea, I promise you'll find something from Jonathan you like. He has such a way of writing relatably and with great characters and great plots. You really can't beat it. So check him out.
Thank you.
Otherwise, nerdy neighbors, we'll see you guys next time in the nerdy neighborhood.